Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking what is honestly one of the most absolutely fascinating financial evolutions of the modern era. We're tracking a true underdog story here, a journey from absolute obscurity, starting at literally zero, all the way to global dominance. Let's explore the evolution of Bitcoin. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. What if a digital coin, created by a totally unknown person, ended up worth more than many of the world's biggest, most established companies? Like a couple of decades ago, that premise would have sounded completely absurd, right? No way. Yet, as we look at the financial landscape in 2026, it is our reality. So to understand exactly how we got here, we've got to go back to the start. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. Birth of a digital coin. Every financial revolution really needs a catalyst to kick it off. And back in 2008, the traditional centralized system was failing. People were literally terrified as huge institutions collapsed, and everyone was stuck relying entirely on banks and governments to dictate the rules. But out of the shadows of that massive crisis, the mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto introduced a radical alternative, Bitcoin. And it was an entirely decentralized vision. We're talking no central banks, no government permission needed, just a peer-to-peer network mathematically designed to function completely on its own. Which brings us to Section 2, the most expensive pizzas ever. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is this number right here, 10,000. See, when the network quietly launched in 2009, it was just a fringe computer experiment. It was virtually worthless. But fast forward to 2010, and we get our very first real-world transaction. A community member actually spent 10,000 Bitcoins on just 2 pizzas. You really have to hope they had extra pepperoni considering what those would be worth today, right? Yeah, that officially goes down in history as the most expensive pizza order ever placed. But more importantly, it brilliantly illustrates just how fragile and truly underdog Bitcoin was in its early days. That simple pizza transaction, it was a massive milestone. It proved the network actually worked as a medium of exchange. Somebody traded real-world goods for digital code. And that's exactly what sparked the explosive price action that followed. Moving on to Section 3, surviving the crashes. But listen, this path to becoming a globally recognized asset, it was anything but a straight line. If Bitcoin was actually going to rewrite the rules, it had to survive a brutal onslaught of trials. We're talking massive exchange hacks that stole millions, severe, gut-wrenching price crashes, really harsh regulatory threats from governments all over the world, and just crushing multi-year bear markets. Traditional media literally declared it dead over and over again. Yet every single time skeptics thought it was finished, the decentralized network just quietly kept running, block by block, and miraculously came back even stronger. And that resilience leads us straight into Section 4, the new digital gold. So the crucial point is this specific, unchangeable number, 21 million. By the 2020s, the entire narrative had shifted. Major Fortune 500 companies, massive investment funds, and even some sovereign nations actually began adopting it. And the reason why? It comes down to this hard cap. Unlike traditional fiat currencies where, central banks can just infinitely print more money and devalue your cash, Bitcoin has a mathematically enforced limit written right into its code. Only 21 million will ever exist, period. And it's exactly that mathematical scarcity that created a huge shift in global trust, officially earning it the title of digital gold. Millions of people transitioned from viewing Bitcoin as just this weird, highly speculative internet novelty to actually trusting it as a reliable store of value. It became a highly scarce digital asset serving as a safe haven. It's fundamentally comparable to physical gold, but, specifically built for our modern digital age. Let's move to and see how this builds chronologically, because it really puts the sheer speed of this revolution into perspective. Look at this. In 2008, it's just Nakamoto's visionary white paper responding to a failing financial system. The network launches in 2009. By 2010, 10,000 Bitcoin buys a couple of pizzas. Then we push through a very tough decade of brutal testing to finally reach massive institutional adoption in the 2020s. And now, today in 2026, it is undeniably entrenched globally. It's wild. From 2 pizzas to a global financial revolution, that staggeringly proves, really beyond a shadow of a doubt, that a small, mysterious digital coin successfully challenged the entire legacy banking system. It survived absolutely every attack. It rewarded the people who actually believed in its decentralized mechanics, and it fundamentally changed the future of money as we know it. So that leaves us with one big question. If a seemingly worthless computer experiment could completely rewrite the deeply entrenched rules of global finance in less than 2 decades, what will the future of money look like next? The foundation is laid, and the revolution is already here. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning the systems around you, and I'll catch you